You know, when you feel totally hopeless, like you know what you need to do to lose weight, but you can't get yourself to do it. And you keep giving in to all of your food cravings. You keep telling yourself that you'll start over next Monday. But this has been going on for years. I mean, when you look back, you can see that you've had a lifetime of struggle with food obsessions, emotional eating, binge eating, sugar addiction, self-doubts, second guessing yourself when it comes to getting the weight off, all kinds of problems that go into this huge challenge. And all of that adds up over time, and you can really start feeling like you're never going to get it done. Time is running out, and you always fail, so why try again? If you are feeling hopeless, then today's podcast is for you. And I want you to know that I do understand because I've totally been there myself, but I do have hope for you if you keep listening. Welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. Today is episode number 483. Today's topic, the number one sign you're not hopeless and you really can lose weight. Hello. Welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show, or welcome if this is your first time listening in. My name is JoLynn Braley. I am the permanent weight loss coach who founded the Inner Self Diet. The Inner Self Diet is the diet that you need. It's required if what you want to do is heal the root of your ongoing struggles, to get your eating under control, to lose weight, and keep it off. You might have noticed over the years that no matter how many diets you do, regular diets, mainstream food diets, no matter how many of them you do, you're still having the same problems that you've always had unless you go to the root of what is driving you to overeat and sabotage yourself by choosing the wrong kinds of foods that keep the weight on, put more weight on, stop you from losing weight, send you off into a tailspin when you were at one time doing so good. If this is your first time tuning into the JoLynn Braley Show, I launched my mind-body weight loss coaching business back in 2007. I began professionally coaching in 2009, and I launched this podcast in 2013. It's actually been 9 years since I launched this podcast. And as a celebration of the 9-year anniversary of the JoLynn Braley Show, I've put together my top 9 weight loss tips of all time, and you can grab them by going to thejolynnbraleyshow.com/9. thejolynnbraleyshow.com/9, and you can see how to spell my name because you're listening to this podcast. So just go to thejolynnbraleyshow.com/9, and you can get my best 9 weight loss tips of all time. I'll send you the list immediately, and then I break each one of them down. I'll do a little bit of an expansion on each one over a period of 9 days, which makes it much more digestible for you to really get it, to really absorb what I'm sharing with you. So grab that celebration freebie at thejolynnbraleyshow.com/9. Today, what we're doing is we're talking about the number one sign that you're not hopeless. You're not hopeless, and you really can lose weight. Now, barring any kind of a medical reason that prohibits your body from releasing fat, which personally I've never heard of one, because even those who say they have thyroid issues and all kinds of other issues, I've never known anybody who, once they got off of the processed foods and they ate clean, I've never known anybody who that didn't work for. So you got to make a change in what you're eating and how much you're eating. You got to use portion control. You've got to cook and Plan your meals in advance. If you'd like to hear more about eating clean, I have done some podcasts on this topic. Just search in the JoLynn Braley Show for that phrase, eating clean or clean eating. If you're not sure what I mean by eating clean, grab my grocery list by going to grabmygrocerylist.com. Literally, grabmygrocerylist.com, and you can download my free grocery list, which is just a super simple list of the foods that I typically buy at the grocery store, which make up a clean eating lifestyle for me. They're just basic staples. And then as long as you've got the recipes to cook with and you've got the right mindset, all right, mindset is 92.8% of all of this. That's why I do the coaching that I do in the Inner Self Diet. Once you have a weight loss mindset, then you've got your inner self on board with the goal that you want on the outside, which is your ideal weight, your ideal life, feeling your best, looking your best in your jeans, just having a great time, and no more self-sabotaging your goals for your weight. Because really, doesn't it make sense that the only one who's in your way right now is you? I mean, unless somebody is chained you down in a chair and is force-feeding you, it's all you, right? You know, I've had coaching clients over the years since 2009 who said that, oh, but, you know, my husband brings home junk food or my kids want to eat junk food. But once they got the right mindset, even that wasn't a problem. Now, personally, I think it's better not to have that food in your house. But sometimes when you have other people that you live with, you have to find a way to work with that. And as long as you have the right mindset, I remember one of my coaching clients said that one of her friends gave her a bag of chocolates for a present. And my coaching client was one who used to, at one time, if she ever had chocolate anywhere near her, she would eat all of it immediately. And that bag sat on her countertop for over a month. But she'd never done that before. Now, again, I think it's easier not to have those things in your space. It just makes it easier on you. But when you heal the root of what's driving your out of control eating behaviors, then you really can live normal around food. And it becomes a choice. It doesn't feel like restriction because you're eating how you want to eat and you're naturally choosing all of the healthy choices that work best for your body. Now, you need a weight loss mindset for that if you really want it to work. Once again, that's why I do the coaching that I do with my coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet. But back to what I was saying a second ago, you can get my grocery list at grabmygrocerylist.com if you're not sure what I mean when I say clean eating and eating clean. And so I haven't known anybody who, once they got off the processed foods, that they couldn't lose weight. That's one aspect of all of this. But my main point that I want to share with you here today on today's free weight loss podcast, episode number 483 of the JoLynn Braley Show, is the number one sign that you are not hopeless, that you really can lose weight. You want to know what that sign is? It's my voice. This is the sign. The fact that you are listening to me right now is proof that you are not hopeless, because if you were hopeless and you could never lose weight, that would all be dependent on you giving up. You are the one who has to totally give up. And if you had totally given up, then yes, all hope would be lost. But if you had totally given up, you would not be listening to me right now. So this right here is the proof. It's so simple. How does it make you feel to know that it's not hopeless for you? You really can turn things around. You really can get to your goal weight. You really can do it. Now, you're going to have to do it if you're going to do it. And you might want to go back and listen to podcast episode number 482, the one right before this one here that you're listening to, 483. On episode 482, I shared 3 ways to guarantee that you really can reach your goal weight this year, because you are going to have to take action. All right. So while it's good that you've got proof that it's not hopeless for you because you're listening to me right now, because if you had given up all hope, you wouldn't be listening to me. You'd be out going to the drive-thru, getting more donuts, getting more burgers and milkshakes and ice cream and everything else. Heck, you could be going through a drive-thru right now and listening to me, but still, if you had totally given up, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. You wouldn't be hearing my voice right now. So then the next step is, what is your next step? What do you need to do in order to succeed fully and completely with your weight? And actually, do you even want to succeed fully and completely with your weight? It's possible that you haven't given up hope, but what is it that you haven't given up hope on? It is possible that you have not given up hope on listening to podcasts about weight loss. It's possible that you haven't given up hope on collecting more information about weight loss. If that's where you're at, it's still better than just totally giving up. But there has to be more in order to actually reach your goal weight. You've got to take real world action, and it's got to be a mind-body action plan. I firmly know and firmly believe that your mindset is 92.8% of this. For example, just a very simple example, if you are going around telling yourself that it's too hard to lose weight, then when you tell yourself these words, it's too hard to lose weight, it's too hard for me to lose weight, I can't lose weight, are you going to naturally then choose healthy options? Are you going to cook in advance for yourself? Are you going to plan out your meals? Are you going to portion out your meals? Maybe you will for a couple days, but when you keep telling yourself it's too hard to lose weight, you can't lose weight, I can't lose weight, I've tried it before, I always fail. Does it make any sense that what you're doing is defeating yourself before you even get going? And this is only a very, very simple example of a fat mindset. Not a weight loss mindset, but a fat mindset. And a fat mindset, that's where you're thinking fat-inducing thoughts. And what I mean by that is a fat-inducing thought is a thought which leads you to a behavior that is in the opposite direction of the weight loss you say you want. So the way that things go is you think a thought, whatever you're thinking is going to create how you feel, right? If you're thinking, it's too hard for me to lose weight, I always fail at it, that's going to make you feel like crap. If you're already an emotional eater, what are you going to do? You're going to go eat more food. More than likely, you're not physically hungry, and you're going to choose foods that take you further away from your weight loss goal. You think a thought, which is followed by an emotion, which is followed by a behavior, and that is followed by a result. And when you string enough of those together over time, now you've got the result of overweight or obesity. There's more underneath this, though, because when you have limiting beliefs or fat beliefs, a belief is just a thought that you've been thinking over and over and over again. And when you have fat beliefs, those beliefs are going to match up with your thinking, and then now you've got your fat thinking, and that leads to a fat emotional state. And what do I mean by a fat emotional state? That's an emotional state that doesn't feel good, and it matches your emotional eating. Okay, are you following me? So just imagine if you could change your head, if you could change what's in between your own two ears and change your emotional state, How much easier would it be for you to change your eating behaviors? Because if you had full belief that you really could do it, why wouldn't you? If it wasn't just words, if it wasn't just affirmations, and unfortunately, affirmations usually don't work if you don't have beliefs to match them. So you could tell yourself all day long, I can lose weight, 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 I can lose weight. But if you don't believe that you can, if you don't believe you deserve to, if you don't believe that you're worth the time, if you don't believe you're worth the money, if you don't believe you're worth it, then no matter how many times you tell yourself, I can lose weight, that can't get past your foundation of beliefs that you have about yourself, about your body, about weight loss. Now, the good news is all these things can be changed. And remember, the good news is it's not hopeless for you because you're listening to me right now. All these things, all these challenges, they cannot be changed overnight. But what you can do is you can start where you are. You make a decision that you're tired of struggling. You're tired of abusing yourself. You're tired of hitting the wall where maybe you do get going with healthy eating. Maybe you get going with positive thinking for a few days, maybe even a couple weeks. Maybe you can even do it for a month. But you always end up rubber banding back. You hit that wall where you can't go any further. And it's either an emotional wall or it could be a physical craving wall. If you're not getting off the processed foods, it's very, very, very difficult, if not impossible, to clean out your system of those chemicals which set you up for wanting more. In fact, it really is impossible. You gotta get off of that stuff that is so addictive, the physical food, right? But that's very, very, very hard to do if you don't have the right mindset for it. So all of this goes together. All of it goes together. Can you change? Can you do it? You personally, can you change? Can you do it? If you want to, remember, it's not hopeless for you because you're listening to me right now. So it comes down to you making a decision that you're willing to change, that you're going to change, that you're going to do whatever it takes to change. And that's what you're going to do. You have to decide. Nothing is going to change without you making a decision. You know, one exercise that you can do that can be very, very helpful is you take a pen and paper and you do this pen on paper. You can't do it in your head. You can't do it on a phone. There's actually a connection that occurs between your head, hand, and heart when you write pen on paper. And the exercise is, first of all, define exactly what you want. What exactly is it you want? What is your healthiest weight? What is your healthiest size in your jeans? How do you want to feel about yourself? How do you want to look? What do you want to think about yourself? How do you want to feel? And what do you want to think the first moment when you wake up in the morning? What exactly is it that you want? Write it all down. Okay, that's the first part of the exercise. You have to define exactly what you want. The second part of the exercise is, if you could actually change, which you need to have a system of steps to do that. You need support. The fastest way to make these changes is with coaching. But imagine if you really were to change, and let's say that a year from now, you were living all of those results that you wrote pen on paper. So the next step of this exercise is to write on a separate piece of paper, a clean sheet of paper, write out how you would feel if a year from now you were living the results you wrote down. How would you feel? What would you be doing? How would this change your work life? How would this change your relationships? How would it change your life if you really could make these changes that you say that you want, all those changes that you wrote, pen on paper? Now, the third part of the exercise is on another piece of paper. Now you're going to write out how are you going to feel, how are you going to look, what are you going to be doing, where are you going to be a year from now if you keep doing what you're doing right now. And this one is going to be really easy for you because you're already living it. More than likely, if you're like everybody else, you told yourself a year ago that you were going to really do this. And then a year went by and you're still in the same pickle. Probably feeling even worse, though, because the more time that goes by, you just feel more and more and more disappointed and more hopeless. But again, you haven't totally given up because you're listening to me right now, so there is still hope. So it's really important to write out pen on paper where you're going to be a year from now, how you're going to feel, what you're going to look like, all of the results that you're going to have, which are the results you have now, or you could be heavier. It's very easy to keep gaining, of course. You know that. You write all that out, and then that will make it easier for you to decide what are you going to do next now, because whatever you do next now is either going to lead you closer to the outcome where you're going to have the results that you say you want and you're going to feel awesome, or what you do next is going to lead you closer to the outcome that is the third part of the exercise that I just gave you, where you're going to feel the same as you do now or worse. More than likely worse, unfortunately, because, just look at your life experience. The longer you struggle with this, do you feel better? Or wouldn't you say that you just feel worse the more disappointment you feel in yourself the longer this goes on? Remember, this exercise works if you do it pen on paper. It will help you make a clear decision on what you're going to do next. And another powerful thing about writing pen on paper is it forces you to get present with yourself. I highly recommend that you turn off all distractions when you do this exercise. If you can just get yourself to do this exercise, that would be a huge step in the right direction. Most people today, they're so distracted and so scattered. It's amazing that anyone can lose weight. But then when you look around, you see that most people are actually overweight, which is not good, is it? Not only is it not healthy physically, but it's not healthy for you emotionally, for your self-esteem, mentally. It just impacts every area of your life. Have you ever noticed? Because you take your body with you everywhere. You can't just shed your body and then run around feeling fantastic. The body that you're living in goes with you everywhere. And if you're not feeling good in your own skin, then how can you feel good in every area of your life? Does this make sense? So my main intention here with today's podcast was just to impress upon you that you're not hopeless, because if you were, and if it was all over for you and you could never lose weight, there's no way that you'd be listening to me talk. You wouldn't have any interest in this. Now, again, like I said, you got to take it a step further. You got to make sure that you don't just have an interest in listening. You don't just have an interest in hearing and in collecting information. It's got to be translated and moved into real world action. And consistency with your action is everything. If you consistently live a healthy lifestyle over time, you can get the weight off and you can keep it off. And all of it can be struggle-free if you have the right mindset. That right there, the inner work, is 92.8% of all of this. Get your mindset right. Get your head right. Get your head in the right place. Get your thinking in the right place. Get your emotional state in the right place. Get your confidence, your self-esteem. Get all of that in the right place. And then it really is no big deal at all to live a healthy lifestyle. And the healthy lifestyle is what you need in order to get that weight off and keep it off. Actually, if you'd like to increase your hope even more, search in my podcast for the words real results. that phrase, real results, you should be able to find the series that I did, which is Real Results from the Inner Self Diet. And what that series is a collection of a few audio interviews that I did with some of my weight loss coaching clients who I've coached over the years since I started doing this in 2009. So I uploaded a couple of those for you to help you have more hope that it's possible to really make these changes. Because if you listen to those interviews, you'll hear the graduates of the Inner Self Diet say that they used to feel really defeated, really depressed, maybe negative, frustrated. You'll hear them talk about how they felt before they did the Inner Self Diet. And then you'll hear them talk about their results after doing it. I had a lot of coaching clients tell me that if I'd told them in the beginning everything that would change for them, they said they never would have believed me. So go ahead and listen to some of those interviews that I uploaded. It's just a few of the graduates of the Inner Self Diet. But if you listen to them, I think that you're going to gain even more hope for yourself. Because if there's one person on the planet who has done it, why couldn't you do it too? All you have to do is the steps that they did. Does that make sense? Why not? Why not you? Why not you also? Once again, you could find that in the JoLynn Braley Show by just searching for the phrase real results. You should be able to find it. I will be back with you on the next free weight loss podcast here on the JoLynn Braley Show. If you would like help, if you'd like my help, if you'd like my personal help, if you really are serious about ending the struggle with your eating and your weight, if you'd love to stop asking yourself, why am I so smart and successful in my life except for this one area? I've got all this other good stuff going on. I've got a great career, great relationships, everything else is wonderful, but this one area of my life, I know what I need to do. I know what works for my body, but I can't get myself to do it. Some people say they lack weight loss motivation, but it goes deeper than that. If you would love my help to finally heal the root of what's driving your out-of-control eating, your emotional eating, your binge eating, your food obsessions, your self-doubts, the whole thing, head on over to www.discovery-session.com, www.discovery-session.com. Fill out an application for a complimentary weight loss discovery session with me. That's your first step towards freedom from the struggle. This is for you if you really are serious about putting an end to your ongoing food and weight struggles. Your mindset is 92.8% of what is going to set you free from this ongoing battle that you've never been able to break free of. And unfortunately, just a food diet isn't enough. If it were, then what the heck would be the problem? I mean, how many healthy food plans are out there already? Of course, there's some crazy ones too that aren't healthy, but there's a lot of healthy ones out there. So how many of those do you already have? What would be the issue if that was all you needed? Does that make sense? So once again, if you'd love to end the struggle, if you'd love to do it in 8 weeks or less, the fastest way to do it is with coaching, with accountability, with steps to follow that all you have to do is do them. Your first step is to complete an application for a complimentary weight loss discovery session with me. Let's find out if or how I can even help you. We'll get on the phone, see if there's any way I can help you. We don't know right now until we talk. Start by filling out that application at www.discovery-session.com. I'm JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the Inner Self Diet. Please remember there is hope for you. You really can get the weight off if you want to. How do we know there's hope? Because you listened to this podcast. If you had totally given up, you wouldn't even have listened, and you definitely would not have listened all the way to the end. So there's even more hope for you than the people who started listening to this podcast and didn't finish it all the way through. So give yourself a pat on the back for that. I wish you your best life living inside of your ideal body.